is going.
Are you serious?
Yes. Getting those candid moments.
I'm Nick Simmons, and I am on Small Talk
With Lila Hart.
with Lila Hart.
Okay, so like, do it like you're on the Disney Channel. And here, we'll put this little heart in between us.
Hi, I'm Nick Simmons.
Wait, I'll start over again, okay? Give us a, he's supposed to direct us.
Alright, so 3, 2, 1.
Hi, I'm Nick Simmons, and I'm on Small Talk with Lila Hart.
Oh my gosh, I'm so excited to have you on Small Talk!
Yeah, I'm
You're
excited.
finally here,
Yeah.
all the way from New York.
Mhm.
New York.
That's the place.
So Nick, how has your week in LA been?
It's been awesome. Everyone's happy here. It's
What
amazing.
do you love the most?
What do I love the most? I love the weather. I love how people are actually happy. Okay, this is what's weird to me. People will smile and say hi to you on the street, and it makes me feel really like sketched out because you don't get that in New York. People just stare at their phones, and if anyone talks to you, it's probably a crazy person asking for money. So like people like are talking to me on the street, and I'm like, what's happening? I don't know what's happening.
So you were born and raised in New York?
Yeah, I'm born in the Bronx, and now I live in Brooklyn.
Okay, cool.
Mhm.
I've been to New York one time, and I saw the Statue of Liberty, but I saw it from the ferry. I was so wasted that I cried when I saw the Statue of Liberty because I just thought it was some monumental moment in my life.
You know what's funny? I've lived there my whole life, never seen the statue. I've driven by it like on the highway, but I've never actually like, gone to it.
I didn't go to it.
Okay.
I literally just rode on a ferry and saw it, and I was like, oh my gosh, it's the Statue of Liberty.
Yeah, I've never been on that ferry before.
Oh really?
Yeah, because it's kind of like you guys. Like, do you guys have any like? What's like your tourist thing that people like expect you to know, but
Well,
you don't actually go to?
I'm from Seattle, so the biggest thing there is the Space Needle.
Mhm.
And Eric, what's that noise?
It's the washing machine. I'll turn it off if you want.
So
Have you been in the Space Needle?
I've never been to
Exactly, yeah.
the Space
Mhm.
Needle, but I've driven by it. Everybody always goes there and
Mhm.
takes like pictures at the top of it. You can go to the restaurant and eat there.
Yeah,
But
but it's like
I've
a
never-
tourist thing.
I've never done it.
Yeah.
But I want to do that someday.
You do?
I
Yeah.
want to get paid to go there. Actually, I want to do all the touristy things, but
Mhm.
like have a real reason to go.
Yeah, I've never been to Empire. I've been to the Empire State Building on the outside. Never been inside. When the Twin Towers were up, never went there. The only reason I even go to Times Square is because there's a comedy club there. Otherwise, I have no reason to ever go and step foot anywhere near there because it's a nightmare to even go through that place.
So you've been out here for a week doing stand-up comedy,
Mhm.
and tell me about the first time you ever did stand-up, or what made you know that I am a comedian and this is what I'm destined to do.
The first time I did open mic, I was like, this is what I want to do for the rest of my life. I loved it immediately. I bombed, but I loved it immediately. It was the first time I went to the Village Lantern in the Lower East Side and did a mic there, and people were like, there's no way this dude looks like a comic. And I actually had very well written jokes. I've been writing them since I was younger.
Oh,
But
so you've always been.
I've always wanted to be a stand. Yeah, I
Oh,
could
you always
write.
wanted it since you were a kid.
Yeah. Since I was
Oh.
the first time I watched stand up was I was maybe 6th grade. Watched George Carlin, and then
I love George.
throughout high school, like, cause there was. You ever seen the TV show Tough Crowd?
Mm-mm.
Well, in New York, it was really big because all the Comedy Cellar guys were on a TV show, and like I'd stay up past like my bedtime when I was younger to watch that show just because I wanted to see Patrice O'Neill and all those guys. And at that moment, I watched it and I was like, I want to do stand up, but I never had the balls to do it because like my friends in high school, they did like theater and stuff, but I did sports, so I was able to write a joke, but to learn how to perform a joke, like never doing any theater background, was very hard. So it took me just getting the balls to, I'm like, all right, I'm gonna bomb for a while, and then I'm just gonna, in time, be okay. But yeah, that's the story, pretty much.
So I really love how you talk about like bombing and still going up
Oh
every
yeah,
single
I still
time.
bomb, yeah.
The first time I did stand up, I thought I was a goddamn rock star.
Did you?
I wore a gold dress, okay, and I treated it like this was like my debut
Mm-hmm.
comedy special or something. And I remember it was at an open mic at Floppers, and I gave the guy in the front, I was like, can you take a photo of me while I do like my stand up? And like I went up there,
Mhm.
it was like 3 minutes, and I mean I didn't bomb. I actually did really well.
Mm-hmm. Do you remember your first joke?
My first joke, I don't remember. I remember it said something about weighing as much as a sack of potatoes.
Okay.
I'm 75 pounds.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Okay, mine, I acknowledged that I look like Ronnie from the Jersey Shore. And and then my first joke was so stupid. It was I was like, it's bad. It's gonna be bad. But I said that I'm like, did you know that the police horses are technically actually police officers? Like, you know, the horses that they ride on?
Yeah.
I was like, I just found that out, so that means that there's a police officer that just shits in front of my house every day. It's pretty bad, but that was one of my first jokes.
Talk about police horses.
Mhm.
Okay, so you, Jersey Shore, you definitely look like a Jersey Shore type dude. That's what I said to you when I first saw you.
Yes.
I asked you, like, do you
I
want
get that a lot.
Jersey Shore?
Mm-hmm. We grew up, because like, when you're from New York, like, your whole, like, teenage years is, like, all the time you go down to the Jersey Shore, and you just Guido out, and just, it's such tool
Do
bag
you
shit.
consider yourself a Guido?
I used to be, really bad. Like, I had the blowout, the chains, Armani Exchange, and we were all just big tool bags.
Yeah, we're gonna
growing
pop
up.
up a photo of that too. But I need to.
It's
I'm gonna go digging in your Instagram.
It's
and find
it's
out
so
what's-
cringe. It's so bad. Like, I look back at those pictures and I'm like, I wish there was a way to just burn all these, but they're on the internet, so I can't.
I loved the Jersey Shore back in 2009 when I was in college,
Mhm.
and I love Snooki because I would dress up as her for, you know, the little puff thing that was like
poof.
really the poof
Every
thing.
girl in
that
New
was,
York
like,
had it then.
super
Mhm.
in was the poof,
Yeah.
and I would go tanning, and I'm
Mhm.
from Washington, so it was like with tanning beds,
Mhm.
you know, it's like not sunny at all. Like clearly it was a fake tan,
Mhm.
but I love the Jersey Shore, and I love Snooki because she was so short and tiny, and she made it cool to
Mhm.
be short and tiny.
Yeah, I think she's 4'8" in real life. She's,
Yeah, I'm
she's a tiny girl.
4'6".
Yeah, you're only 2 inches shorter than her. Yep.
Tell us about your love life.
I haven't dated in a year, like an actual like girl that I dated, because the last one I dated was a long distance relationship.
Was a robot.
What?
Just kidding.
I did a long distance relationship. She lived in West Hollywood, and I lived in New York. And
Yeah, that is a long distance relationship for sure.
and she, after a year and a half, ghosted me.
Oh,
Yeah.
I'm so sorry.
But then she hit me up as I was coming back out here, and I was like, nope, not happening.
I consider a long distance relationship like if I was to date a guy that lived in Santa Monica, I could not do that. It's a long distance relationship in Los Angeles.
Yeah, New York and LA is too far away from each other.
No, but I mean, in LA, like if you live here in LA, if I live in Burbank and if I dated somebody in Santa Monica, that's long distance to me.
Is that? Yeah.
Yes. Oh my God, it's like 2 hours in traffic. Hell no. If you don't live within a 15-minute radius of me, then it's not happening.
Yeah.
That's too much.
Mhm.
So
Yeah.
she ghosted you.
Yeah.
Ooh,
Yeah.
spooky.
Except for unlike real ghosts, she actually comes back and just annoys the shit out of me.
So she's like, she's haunting you.
Yes.
Ooh,
Mhm.
spooky.
Whenever I least expect it, like a real ghost, just here I am, here to piss you off. Except for I'd be scared of a real ghost.
Is she a comedian?
No. Swimsuit model.
Oh, nice.
Mhm.
You're into swimsuit models.
Not anymore. They're assholes.
Aw, you're heartbroken. Here, you can hold on to that.
Thank you.
Does that make you feel better?
I feel a little bit better now.
Okay, cool. That's what we're here for. To make you
I feel like a Care Bear
better.
right now.
Oh, you are. You're like a really tough looking dude, but it's actually like sweet on the inside and squishy.
Yeah. I don't like squishy, but okay. We'll go with that. Squishy's not the look I'm going for, but alright.
Squishy. I'm squishy. My boobs are.
Oh, okay.
Okay, that just got weird. Anyways, you've had a whole bunch of shows out here, which you came out here with Jax, who was a funny girl Jax, really funny comedian.
Yeah, she's very
You guys are like, you guys write together, you have a show together on Twitch.
Yeah.
Can you tell us about that?
So we have we do a couple things on Twitch. She doesn't do video games. I do some video games, but we mostly do. It's called IRL. It's in real life stuff. And what we do is we document like a comedy career in New York, and it's like we'll do. We'll start off before eating, hanging out before the show with other comics, and then we'll go because in New York you do 3 to 5 shows a night, and we'll just bounce around between shows, comedy banter between. We do that, and then we also have a show where because me and her are very. You can tell I look Italian. She looks very Italian. So we and we're both living in Brooklyn. So we do this over-the-top Italian character where we live stream and people ask us relationship questions and we answer them as much like a horrible Brooklyn Italian would. And it's very fun. What made you be like, this is my fucking dream guy?
Oh, his nipple rings, but he doesn't even have them anymore. Because I love nipple rings on men. I just think they're fucking unresistible. It's like when a teenager sees a Tide Pod. You just gotta put it in your mouth.
So, yeah, I've seen those videos. They're awesome.
Yeah, people like those.
What's the name of that Instagram?
That is That Italian Couple.
Okay, perfect.
Yeah.
And how long have you been doing Twitch?
3 months.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. we've been blowing up pretty quick on that.
That's really freaking cool. It's a lot of video live streaming is kind of like the. I've heard a lot of people being on Twitch, so it's really inspiring to meet somebody that's like been able to blow up that quickly in the last.
It's like a
few
new
months.
thing. Like they just started doing it in real life. It was just video games before, and like now they're trying to do more shit with it. And like I know a couple other comics that are getting on it. There's even a comic from out here that's pretty big on there, Jeff Leach. I don't know if you know him. He does the store and stuff like that, but he just does video games.
The only person that I know on Twitch was Andy Milanakis. Andy Milanakis is on Twitch, and I saw him on Melrose one time.
Did you?
He was live streaming on his Twitch.
Really?
Yeah.
That's crazy.
Right, Andy, it's so great to see you.
Peace out.
Shout
Have a
out
good
to
day.
Small Talk. We're doing an episode on Small Talk.
Small talk, baby. Bang, bang.
Hey! Bye!
This is a
It's crazy. You just run into celebrities out here. It's crazy.
But so, speaking of celebrities, who's like the biggest celebrity you've ran into and you're like starstruck by?
I don't get
Other
starstruck.
than me.
I don't get starstruck, but I actually, like, when I'm at the Comedy Cellar, you see celebrities. Like, one night I saw Bradley Cooper was there with Chappelle and Chris Rock, and that was cool. But then I saw Claudia Schiffer, and I was staring at her because she was so beautiful still. And what happened was I was so stuck at staring at her that I was in the way of the waitstaff, and the waitress was like, "Can you move?" And I moved, and I backed up, and I felt my ass hit something in the face. And I turned around, and it was Ray Romano staring at me like, "What are you doing?" I think I'm gonna get out of here. All right.
That's a great celebrity story. The biggest celebrity that I ever met that I was like, oh my god, starstruck by was I had a comedy show, and after the show, my friend Ashton was like, wanted to go to this. It was this. A Lady Scion is the name. I think that's the name of the club, and they were having like a lesbian night there. And I was like, I've never been to one of those things. So I'm like, that would be fun.
Yeah.
So she's like, let's go. So we go, and as I pull up, she's like, oh my gosh, Lady Gaga just walked in. And I was like, what? So we get inside, and the whole joke of the night, like, if it's good enough for Gaga, it's good enough for me, right? And so she was dancing, and I was looking at her, and I was like, oh, I just want her to make eye contact with me. I'll be so happy. She just like looks at me, and she never looked at me. And then the lights go up at the club, because we're just like over it, like we're not gonna see her. Everybody's like trying to see her. Lights go up at the club, and because my friend Ashton like knew the guy who owned the place, we got to stay. All of a sudden, Lady Gaga comes from around the corner, and she like looks at us, and I go, Gaga? And she runs over to me and hugs me and embraces me in her arms, and I was just like, oh my god, this is amazing.
You probably wanted to die at that moment, right?
I was like, oh my god, I'm getting touched by the Gaga. Like, this is like, I'm destined to make it. Like, this is true stardom right
You
here.
haven't showered since that day, right?
But she hugged me, and then I was like, you look so beautiful. She was wearing this black dress, and it was sparkly, and she had like these like diamond studs in, and then she hugged me and Ashton, and we all hugged each other, and then she just like disappeared into the night. It was so amazing. So I was hugged by Gaga once.
Yeah, I'll be honest, the only person I've ever been starstruck is at the Comedy Store with Joe Rogan. Just seeing him in real life, I was like, oh my god, it's Joe Rogan.
Well, he'll be there tonight. So
Yeah,
I'm
he's
sure
one
we'll
of the few people that because I like regular celebrities, I see like Leonardo DiCaprio, I've seen him at clubs and stuff like that, and him I'd give a shit, but like when I saw Joe Rogan, I was like, holy shit, it's Joe Rogan. You know, like that.
Are you a fan of his podcast?
Oh yeah, and he's just like, because I feel like in comedy, there's not all like muscular dudes that are actually funny, and he's like that person who I look up to. It's like, because people can be muscular and not be just a dumb meathead, you know?
That's really funny.
Yeah.
So, speaking of comedians that you look up to, who are your top comedians that you really enjoy, dead or alive?
Oh, my favorite is Patrice O'Neal, by far. Joe Rogan, and also it's a tie between Bill Burr and Jim Norton after that. They're two different but amazing comics. But I don't get to see Bill Burr as much because he's out here all the time. But when I do get to see him, I'm like, you watch him and you're like, I gotta get funnier. You know, like you watch some comics and you're just like, I have a long fucking way to go. Because like sometimes you think you're doing well, and then you see some of these like top level people and you're like, oof, this is gonna be a long road, you know?
What is the craziest thing that's ever happened to you in the comedy scene, or like at an open mic or show? Any crazy heckler stories?
I have some good heckler stories. My favorite one was when I first got passed at LOL in Times Square. It's my first club I got passed at. And I was only like 3 months into comedy, so I was not ready for comedy clubs. And as so it's we in New York we do these things called check spots, and it's like the first thing when you get passed into a club, and you're doing comedy for people who just got their check and see how much they're getting. They realize they're paying $300 for 4 waters, so they're pissed off, and you got to tell jokes during this time, and no one's paying attention to you. So I'm like, all right, I have these jokes, I'm ready to go, and as I'm walking up to the stage, I just hear someone in the background go, steroids, and it fucking killed. And at that point, I did not know what to do. I just went very observant, and I just bombed for 15 minutes. Felt the back sweat going down my back, and that was one of the worst ones. But bad hecklers was there was a person in the crowd that was just being at that same club, and they were being very obnoxious the whole time. And one of the managers comes to the girl, goes up to her, hey, you gotta leave, and he spit in her face. So the comedy show's over at that point, and people are fighting and stuff like that. And one of my other friends, I won't say his name, is a comic, and he dragged the dude out, dragging him, and it's a long staircase, and we had to bring this kid down the stairs. And what we didn't know was all that kid's friends were waiting for him at the bottom of the staircase. A lot of really big dudes, and the security of that club he saw all those friends, closed the door, and locks me and my friend in the staircase with all that guy's friends. And those friends start walking up the stairs, and I didn't know what to do, so I just saw the biggest one, and I just pushed him down the flight of stairs. And this is the fucked up part. As I push him down, he stands up and goes like this. He goes, you know, man, you're my favorite comic. And I was like, and I'm such a narcissist comic that I'm like, oh my God, I'm so sorry. I'm like, please come back. And he goes, fuck you. And I'm like, well, there goes my only fan.
That is great.
Mm-hmm.
I've never been in a fight before.
Never?
Could you imagine me in a fight? Could you imagine me throwing hands?
You could fuck some shit up.
And the only person I get into a fight with is Eric when he doesn't take my Instagram photos correctly.
Okay.
Especially yesterday, I was having a trench.
I saw your Insta story. It was hilarious.
You're not making me happy. I'm trying to get a good Instagram photo. Can you direct me?
Alright, here's the direction. Be ready for the zoom in.
Back up! Stop! I'm gonna hit you.
Take a good photo or catch these hands, Eric.
I was a bouncer for a while, so basically.
I could see that. Could you imagine me as a bouncer though? I think people would be like really intimidated because they'd be like, "What the fuck? This bitch might be like gnarly."
She might know some crazy shit.
Right. I think I should play like the superhero or supervillain in a movie. I think that'd be great.
You could dick punch perfectly.
Right, exactly. And like, or like the whole movie could be like this mystery murder. Like, oh my god, all these dudes are getting shot in the dick. Like, who's doing this? It's like, surprise me, bitches, because that's all I can fucking read.
I aim for the face. I keep on getting dick.
Right, dick shots, shooting off your balls. What advice would you have for comedians who are just like starting out? Because like I love that you're so honest about like the fact that you bombed your first time. What made you keep going even after an experience like that? Because it could be really traumatizing.
Someone came up to me, this kid named Patrick Holbert, and I still am friends with him now. And he comes up to me after the show and he goes, "Yeah, I could tell you just started." He goes, "But you have some really well written jokes." And he goes, "You need to keep on doing this because you're gonna be good." And I talked to him today, and he goes, "Yeah, I was kind of lying to you. I just thought you were." He's like, "I knew the jokes were good, but he's like, your stage presence back then was terrible." But like him telling me that gave me hope that I could actually be good, and I just kept on going up. And that's the advice I give to anybody: is just get on stage because you're probably gonna eat your dick a lot when you first start, and you just have to if you want to do this, you have to just get past that. And the biggest advice is just get on stage as much as possible. Because like my first year, when I got past at that comedy club, I was getting 17 shows a week doing check spots, and I was like, I would do that, and then I would do 15 open mics a week. So I was getting up average 30 times every week, and I was like, after doing 30 spots a week for a full year, you just grow so fast. You're gonna eat a lot of dicks, but it's worth it because you're gonna get good if you keep on going up. It's just people they get to that point where they keep on bombing, and they don't want to do it anymore because they're like, maybe this isn't for me. But I feel like everyone does it the first year, and you have to learn how to be comfortable on stage. Were you comfortable on stage the first time you did it?
Yeah, I was. Well, because my background was I have a degree in broadcast productions from Washington State University. So I always going to be I thought I was going to be a news anchor. You know what I mean? So I was always making like funny videos. And before I even started stand up, I'd be out at like a club or just out with my friends, and
Yeah.
random strangers would be like, "Are you like some sort of comedian or something?" Someone was just doing weird stuff.
Yeah.
You know.
Do you remember the moment where you're like, I want to try my first open mic?
Oh yeah, I was in the shower. It was February 10th, and I had this epiphany. It's like, you're a comedian. You have to do stand-up comedy. Like, if you become a comedian, people write parts in for you for TV, because that's ultimately what I want to do is have a talk show and interview people. And you know, comedy's really opened a lot of doors for me. Without comedy, I wouldn't be in this place in my life. Which comedy is just this amazing journey, and I'm just so happy to be along for the ride.
Yeah, I had a weird moment where I decided I wanted to do my first open mic. Because I've always wanted to do it, but I never thought it was an actual possible thing. And then one time me and my friends took acid, and I was killing. We were on acid, and my friend goes, "Have you ever decided you should do comedy?" And I had one of those acid, like, introspective moments, and like for a couple seconds I just sat there staring at a wall, and I went, I want to do comedy. And it just, ever since that day, the next day I went to do an open mic, the day after doing acid. Probably why I didn't do well also, because I was very drained, but after that day, it was fun.
For me, comedy is truly this like gift, and I'm so grateful to have found my passion in life, because so many people go their whole life without really pursuing their passion, you know.
Absolutely.
And there's really no right or wrong way to do something with comedy. And you know, I just love that story about how you talk about like doing 30 mics. What was it, 30 mics?
30 mics a week, yeah.
30 mics a week, like that's insane.
Yeah.
But it's like that just goes to show your amount of determination and passion for what you have out.
You can have a lot less of a social life, but you start. That's the fun thing about it, is you start meeting these other people. Like I have a friend Usama from New York. He does 50 mics a week, and it's like you meet these other people that have the same passion as you, and you don't have to. You kind of give up on your regular social life with some of your other friends, and you lose some friends in the process who don't like understand what you're doing. But you meet a lot of cool people that do and have the same interests as you, and it's fucking. You make some awesome friendships in comedy.
So, how does your family feel about you doing stand up?
They love it. They do. At the beginning, they were a little like, okay, what do you... But like my brother, when he was like 16 years... Because my brother's younger than me. And he was 16 years old, or he started doing music back then. And by the time he was 19, he already did 4 world tours.
Oh, wow.
And like, my family saw that there's... Because like, I have like a family that like, we're all from New York, and they all have like union jobs. And like, they were like, you got to get a union job, and then you just... One day you'll retire, and that's going to be your whole life. And like I told them, I'm like, that's not the life I want. I don't want to just live just to live. I want to do what I want to do.
You want to experience it.
Exactly. I think if you have one life, why not do the one thing you want to do? Why would you waste this one chance to be a human being on just living and just being just mouth breathing through life and just getting through it, you know? So I'm doing what I want to do. And I'm taking them both by the horns, and I'm trying to make my own path now, especially with like Twitch and stuff like, because like we live in a generation now, like back in the day, like there was only one path. Like in the 80s and 90s, you go in the clubs, you hang, and that's it. And if someone picks you up, they pick you up. And if the club doesn't put you on, then you're just gonna sit around and just waste away. Now we have social media and stuff like this, so you create your own awesome show like this, and you can actually get out in front of people. Like it's not, the gatekeepers are gone. You can make your own career.
Absolutely. And you know, without social media, we wouldn't even have even met.
Exactly.
We met on like Instagram, and we saw something online on Reddit.
Yep.
Which
that was an awesome video. I love that video.
Thank you.
That was amazing.
So
you handled it very well.
Yeah, it was on an episode of Little Women LA. I didn't know that it was on Reddit.
Yeah.
What were the comments on there? Or how'd you even
Oh, well, they were just saying that the shit that those girls were giving you was bullshit. Like you should be able to say whatever you want, and because it was on the stand-up comedy section of Reddit. And like anybody who's a true comic will say you could say whatever the fuck you want on stage. You know what I mean? And everyone had your back. They're like, that's bullshit that they're gonna tell her what you can and can't say on stage. Well, and I thought it was awesome.
I got on the Little Women LA show. I was 7 months into comedy, right? And the coolest part about it was I love how it said Lifetime and then comedian Lila Hart. I'm so excited about that. But I'm really grateful that me and the girls did have that conversation. It was cool to be able to have that conversation on like a national television show, right? And like I respect their opinions. I feel like they respected my opinion, and we actually got to have a good conversation about it. But at the end of the day, it's like the bigger picture. I feel like I really stuck up for comedy, you know, and
that's key.
Standing up for comedy and about really being true to yourself. And I don't ever want to be censored. And I want to give other comedians for them to know that they should be able to say their truth and speak their truth.
Guys, thank you so much for coming to the show.
Hi.
Hi.
So this is Brianna.
Hi.
This is Tanya.
Hi, how you doing?
Good. I'm so happy you guys came out.
How long
you
you
for
been
inviting
doing
us.
comedy?
About a year, but I love it.
You use the M word quite a lot in your stand-up.
Is that something that you're trying to be provocative?
The reason that I use the word is because I want to take ownership of it, and no one else can use it to make me feel bad.
But when you have people like us in the audience, we don't take power of it like that.
I think the way it came across was like it's okay to be called a midget.
I feel like I'm taking away the negative from it, and I'm adding humor in it.
No, you're not taking the negative away. You're not taking it away.
When you see an average-sized person say their jokes, we can't always relate to that. You know, do you get what I'm saying? Like, you can relate when I say I'm as tall as an LA parking meter. It's comedy.
No,
it's funny.
no, that wasn't funny.
Or just say sex in the backseat. We can do it in the glove box. It's funny. I'm not doing that to hurt your feelings, but you would think that you guys would be able to relate to it and in a comedic manner.
Unfortunately, people take that and think this is okay, and it's not. It just needs a different spin on how you portray it.
This is the first time that I have ever had anyone tell me that my jokes can offend people. I've never had anybody say this to me.
My opinion is funny first. Funny comes before anything. And anybody who wants to censor comedy is just a cancer to comedy. Because if you start, like, you see some people and like they start making it really far into comedy, and like they have to start watching their words and stuff like that, and you feel like you're watching the watered down version. Because you want to see what people actually think. You don't want to just hear. You don't want to hear just what you want to hear. You know what I mean? And that ruins comedy when people are too scared to say this, too scared. I mean, don't ever say anything to purposely hurt someone, because that's fucked up. But if you're trying to be funny, anyone deserves a chance to try to be funny. And if it bombs, then the crowd will let you know that it bombs. It shouldn't be someone else's decision whether or not you can and can't bomb, because anything could be funny. Any issue could be funny. Like I remember at open mic, because I'm from New York, so like 9/11 happened in New York, you know? And some comic came at open mic and had the funniest 9/11 joke I've ever heard in my life. And what's funny is because like I have family that like my dad was like at the Trade Center and helped like clean up the rubble and all that stuff like that. And like my dad, who was in that, saw that joke and was like, that is hilarious. And it's like if people thought you couldn't make fun of certain things, it wouldn't make things easier afterwards, because comedy's supposed to
Comedy's healing.
Exactly.
Comedy's healing, and it's eye-opening, and I feel like as comedians, it's part of the art form to be truth tellers.
Like have you ever had someone come after a show and they were just like, oh, I was in such a bad mood or something bad happened to me, and then you just made my day? Like that kind of shit is amazing to me, you know? Like when you actually make someone's day doing comedy.
Right. And my thing is that I want to make people think first. I want to make people think first. I want to inspire people to go after what they want to do, and to like not let anything hold them back, you know, because with my stand-up, I answer every question that people think of when they see me. And the best times are when people do come up to me and they say, hey, like, you really inspired me.
Yeah,
you know, you made me laugh and you inspired me. And like, that's just, it feels really good.
It's the best feeling in the world.
Absolutely. So you've been out here for a week and you've had so many shows.
Yeah.
You're really busy.
I've done like 8 shows in the past 6 days. It's hard to get around out here from show to show.
What would you say the difference is between your comedy experience out here and New York?
The crowds are better out here. What I'd say is the crowds out here come out and they're ready to laugh, and like they're excited to see a comedy show. And in New York, like the crowds are like, all right, funny guy, try and make me laugh. You know, like they'll sit there and there's some time, like I'm out here and people are smiling when you get on stage. When you get on stage in New York, they're like, okay, what is this guy gonna say? You better make me laugh. And like I enjoy that, but the only thing I don't enjoy is how far away everything is from each other. Because like in New York, like I have a show here and then I could just walk to my next spot, which is right there. And that's like you do that like there's top nights where I do 8 shows in a night, like between mics and shows. Out here, I feel like you'll be here and then you gotta go to like North Hollywood and then you gotta go down here, and like that's the only thing that sucks. I wish you guys had things closer to each other.
Yeah. The one thing I think that we do have that's really awesome is the Comedy Bureau.
Yeah,
right?
I found that.
Comedy Bureau
Yeah, that's been
is
helpful as fuck.
amazing.
Yeah.
So we have so many different Hey, Mark.
Hey,
You want to pop and say hi? Want to promote your episode? Say hello.
I was just trying to like maneuver around.
Want to promote your
Hello, everybody. I was just sneaking around in the background if you didn't hear me. Kind of just like stopped me with deer in the headlights. Like,
Mark is on episode
2.
Episode 2.
Episode 2.
Be sure to check that out.
Like I want to see like something blinking when I say that. Like episode 2. Yeah. All right. What's up, man?
Come on, buddy. How you doing?
This guy. Look at this guy. Being in the gym, huh? He's swole as hell over here.
I was born this way.
He was born this Damn. Damn, superstar over here. I'm gonna let y'all get back to y'all thing.
Be
I
sure to check out
appreciate
his
you.
episode.
Check me out. You know, check out my episode. Check
Check
out
out the
Lila
music.
Hart. Thanks, bro. All right, man. Let's shake your hand again. Sorry, man.
Okay. One thing I noticed about the comics out here is everyone has really cool jackets. I was on stage. I was watching a guy bomb, and I was like, he might be bombing, but that guy, that's a hell of a jacket. I love that.
It's a leather jacket. It's like a staple.
You have to, yeah. Everyone has
I
cool
thought like
jackets.
3 leather
I had to buy a jacket. I was like,
Oh,
I want
you
to
bought
fit
a
in.
jacket?
Yeah, I felt
Okay,
weird. I
nice.
didn't have a cool jacket, so I bought one.
So now you're LA
I'm
ready.
LA now. I'm ready for LA.
Super
cool
LA.
jacket.
When will you be coming back?
I'm definitely coming in October, but I definitely want to come back before then. Hopefully.
And I'm gonna go out to New York.
Yeah.
We'll do a special edition of Small Talk New York.
We should. Yeah.
That's what we should do.
We have the studio at Jax's place now.
Hell yeah, I'm so excited.
Yeah, it's gonna be fun.
Okay, so what is there anything you want to plug? Anything that's been going on or?
Yeah. Well, I'll plug my Twitch channel.
Of course.
It's Nick Simmons Comedy on Twitch, twitch.tv/Nick Simmons Comedy, and Instagram at Nick M Simmons.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
And you have a show tonight.
Yeah, I'm at the Dime Bar tonight, and I'm gonna go with you. So what's it called?
Yeah, we're gonna be at the Comedy Store.
Yeah,
The Potluck.
I love that place, the Comedy Store. It's amazing. It's the best hang out of any comedy club I've ever been to.
Right?
Yeah.
That's the one thing I feel like we are, because I was in New York for a week.
Mm-hmm.
My first year of comedy went out there, and it is very different. It's not really like LA where people at the comedy store people just hang out.
Mhm.
It's like I feel like you go there and then you just leave.
Well, that's the thing in New York. You're like, because you have so many spots in one night that there's no time to hang out. Like people actually hang out after shows out here, and that's pretty cool to me. But like in New York, like you'll do your spot, you'll wait one person so you're not rude, and then you'll leave to go to your next spot. It's that all the way up until like 4. Like my last spot is usually at like I'll get on stage at 2:30 in the morning at the last show, and then I go home, or we'll get food afterwards. That's like the comic hang afterwards. We'll go to a diner or something like that. My favorite is going to the club in Times Square, because afterwards we get to go through the West Side, and the West Side in New York is kind of like how West Hollywood is. It's very gay, and I am a gay magnet. Like I walk through and there's people walking up to like, I will eat your butt, and I'm just like, this is amazing. I wish girls talked to me like this.
That's so funny.
I had my food bought for me one time.
Oh, that's nice.
Yeah. We were getting empanadas, and the waiter comes over and goes, that guy over there paid for your food. I was like, thanks, buddy. Appreciate that.
Follow me on Instagram and Twitter.
Right?
Come to my comedy shows, right?
Yeah.
You could be reaching a whole new demographic.
Well, that's what I've realized. There's, even on Twitch, I have such a gay, like, Instagram, I do I have time to tell a funny story?
Hell yeah!
Okay, so I don't know if you ever heard the porn star Kendra Sunderland. She was like Vixen of the Year, and me and her did a comedy sketch, and it got like 2 million views total. It went pretty big, and after that, like the next day, I had like 2,000 or 3,000 more followers on Instagram, all gay dudes, and the DMs that I got were amazing, especially this one. This guy hits me up. He goes, "Hey, I watch all your comedy and stuff. You're very inspirational. You're awesome, and I don't want to make this weird, but can I buy your underwear?" And I was like, "I'm sorry, what?" And he goes, "I'll give you $500 for a pair of underwear."
Did you sell it?
I tried to. What happened though was he was like, "You have to send the underwear first, and then I'll send the money." And I was like, "Nah, I haven't been in this game long, but I ain't getting fooled." So he refused to send the money before I sent the underwear. So we had to go our separate ways.
Oh, that's unfortunate.
Yeah, right?
Oh, well.
Weird shit happens.
I get some weird DMs too.
Do you?
A lot of dicks. But sometimes
too.
when I'm
Mhm.
sometimes when I'm being funny on Snapchat, I'll just be like, "Yo, send me a dick pic," and like I'm being silly.
Uh-huh.
But guys will actually do that.
Do they really?
Oh yeah. Like,
Yeah.
isn't this what you want? And I'm like, Do you not understand sarcasm?
Do you ever get one like, this one's good though?
Like a nice dick pic? I mean,
How does it work with, because girls, I feel like just to get a random dick with no context is very weird. It has to be weird, right?
I'll just say this. I've never received a dick pic and I was like, oh my god.
Never,
This
not
is
even
what
once?
I want. No, never. I just like,
I'm like, yeah, well, this one's kind of good.
no.
No?
Never. I've never liked any dick pic
Mhm.
that I've ever gotten. That's it.
Unsolicited.
Unsolicited. Or I mean, I've never solicited. I guess I have.
Never solicited one?
I did when I was like, send me some dick pics. But I'm only going to look at the dick pic if you subscribe to channel 310 and you like the video.
That's hilarious.
I've never received a dick pic that I just don't. I'm not down with the dick pics.
No, right? What's the why is it weird? I gotta ask, why is it weird for girls?
Just because it's just like,
'Cause I get asked for them a lot.
oh, you do?
A lot, yeah.
Oh.
But I have a theory why.
Why?
It's because as a muscular guy, I'm sure they're thinking, oh, he's trying to compensate for something, you know? So I think that they're just doing their research beforehand, you know what I mean? So I send it. There's so many out
You are
there.
very proud to send your dick pic.
There's so many of them out there that I could never be in a Disney movie. They're just floating around in space. There's just too many of them.
Well, that's okay.
Yeah.
That's good. Maybe it'll help you in the future.
Maybe.
It could.
If it gets to the right person.
Exactly.
Mhm.
Send it to me.
I will.
You know,
I'll send
and
you
I'll
one
make sure
after
it
the
gets to all the right.
Thank you. Show agents. This is Nick.
Yes.
Let's use that as my headshot. This is Nick.
Yeah, that's your headshot.
Mhm.
Eric, do you have any questions for our guest?
I guess you said that like the crowds are different. Do you think the comedians are different in LA and New York versus how they attack the crowds?
How they attack the crowds or how they do stand up?
Or just how they do stand up in general?
Yeah. In New York, if you don't make them laugh right away, like, you're gonna bomb. Like, it's very hard. Like, you have to make them laugh, and if it's like laughs per minute. Like, if you're not doing bang, bang, bang for 15 minutes, that you'll lose the crowd pretty fast.
No storytelling.
No. Like, out here, I notice there's a lot of, it's a longer setup to a big punchline at the end. In New York, it's more just laughs per minute. But attacking the crowd's pretty similar.
Okay.
Everyone's pretty. I think everywhere you go, people attack the crowd the same way.
That's pretty funny.
Mhm.
I like that.
You are not.
Okay, final question. What do you do when life hands you lemons?
Big lemonade. Boo! Terrible answer.
I just want to show my
I thought that was a real question. I was like,
You think your answer matters, Nick?
Thank you so much for being on my
Thank
show.
you. Thanks for having me.
Small talk.
yeah.